in a parallel communication, what will happen? Either 8 or more lines of the data, wired conductor, that means wired connectivity, okay, are used to transfer the data to the device that is only very nearer to the 8051, very much nearer. So when we go for a parallel communication, whenever the sender and the receiver both are nearer to each other, so that we can set up a parallel communication, and within a very small amount of time, we can send all the data in a single time to the receiver. So this is a parallel communication. Now, what about serial communication? Say, if the device is located, if the receiver is located very much far from the sender, during that time, the serial method is used. Okay. So here what will happen? The data is sent 1 bit at a time. So only 1 bit will be sent upon this wire, right? We have seen, for example, in digital electronics, what we have seen? Serial in, parallel out. Okay, SIPO and CISO. Serial in, serial out. Correct? This one we have already seen in where? Digital electronics. And we know what is the circuitry for SI, SO, SIPO, PI, SO, parallel in, serial out, and then parallel in, parallel out. PIPO, right? But now here in 8051, the 8051 is supporting us in terms of SI, SO. Okay, serial in, serial out communication, right? So that is what the communication happens in that way. So what will happen at the transmitting end, that is sender? So whatever the byte of the data is there, it may be 8-bit data, it may be 16-bit data, it may be 42-bit data, or it may be 80 bits of the data. Whatever may be the data, that data first converted into serial bits, okay, using parallel input, serial out, shift register, shift registers. So to convert the parallel data, parallel input, serial output, so we'll be having some registers for that. Registers, that is in terms of either a D flip-flop, or yeah, obviously we go for a D flip-flop only. Okay, there may be a JK, there may be a SR flip-flop, whatever, but basically we go for D latch only. Okay, D latch as a register for parallel input, serial output converter. So who is going to convert parallel inputs into serial output? The sender, while sending the data. Okay. Now I am getting the serial output. Now what I will do? I will send those serial output upon the wire as an electrical signal. Then at the receiver, what he has to convert? He has to first receive the serial input. He is receiving a serial input, and whatever the data is being collected, that has to be converted into parallel output, right? So that what is happening here, the sender and the receiver may be having a long distance, So a longer distance communication can be set up by using serial communication, and a smaller distance communication can be set up by using parallel communication. Okay. So at the receiving end, what will happen? There is a serial in parallel out. So serial in parallel out at where? At the receiver side. At the receiver side. Okay, to receive the serial data and pack them into again a byte only. Then when the distance is short, the digital signal can be transferred as it is on a simple wire and requires no modulation. Correct? We know what is a modulation, right? Modulation is not required when the distance is very much shorter, right? Even though if you are using a serial communication and if the distance is not much longer, then modulation is not required. If the data is to be transferred on the telephone line, correct? Now we all are having a modem in the home, right? To access the internet. And how the internet is going to be accessed? Through the telephone lines only. Okay. In the home, BSNL will be there, no? BSNL broadband, Airtel broadband, or Geo broadband, fiber net, whatever the things are there, no? Broadbands are there, no? All are depending upon the phone line, because phone line has already been set up a larger network. That is why all these companies uses telephone lines for internet communication. So it must be converted. Whatever the data has to be transferred upon the telephone line, it must be converted from zeros and ones to the audio tones. Because you should know what is a modem. Because the modem is modulator and demodulator. Okay, modulator and demodulator. Say suppose if I am working in a single, say I have a 20 computers only, and then if I want to set up a smaller network, then I don't require any modem. I don't require any modem, but I require one of the switch. And then if at all I am creating a local network and I want to connect that local network with the internet, then I have to utilize a telephone line. I have to utilize a telephone line so that those all 20 computers are connected to modem. And who is modem? Modem is using the telephone line. Modem is connected to a telephone line where modulator and demodulator. So whatever the zeros and ones are there, binary number what we have in our computer, if I want to send it on the internet, then that data is going to be modulated into audio tones. Okay, it is converted into audio tones and modulated, and then when it is received, then the audio tone is converted back into what? Zeros and ones at another computer. At another computer. Okay, so this conversion is performed by a device called as modem. Modulator, demodulator. Modem means modulator and demodulator. What it is going to do? It is converting zeros and ones into audio tones. Okay, and modulator meaning, actually meaning what? Modulation? It is making the signal to be very much strengthening the signal. Okay, so that is what communication will happen in this way. Sender will convert the data bits into serial output. Receiver will receive that all serial data and convert back it into parallel. Then when the distance is shorter, no requirement of the modulation. Then when the distance is so far between the sender and receiver, then the computer's sender and the receiver are using modem. For what purpose? For sending the data upon telephone line. For sending the data upon telephone line. So that is done by modem. What modem will do? It will convert all zeros and ones, whatever the data bits I have, that will be converted into audio signal. Okay. So basically, okay, this one also we know, right? What is synchronous and what is asynchronous, right? So serial data communication uses two methods. Synchronous method transfers a block of data at a time. Asynchronous method transfer a single byte at a time. Okay, see, block of data. Block of data means, say if I have 42 bits to be sent from 42 bits to be sent from sender to the receiver. Okay, then what this, if I am using a synchronous communication, what is a synchronous communication? Which is working upon, that is what, where a clock pulse is applied, right? A clock pulse is being applied for individual data bits. Individual data bits, correct? What is asynchronous? Where clock is not, all the device is not driven by the clock. The output of one will be the input for another as a clock. This one we have studied in digital electronics, no? Synchronous and asynchronous. So I don't think I have to explain in depth. So the thing is, serial data communication is happening in two forms. So when I have 42 bits of the data, so complete 42 bits of the data I can send one by one. So 42 is going to be as one packet. So this is synchronous. If I am using asynchronous, then what it will do? It will divide the data, it will divide the 42 bits into 8 bits. 8 bit plus 8 bits plus 8 bits. How much? And then about 8 bits plus again 8 bits. 40 bits plus 8 bits. So out of this 8 bit, last only 2 bits are used, rest all are 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Right? So total 42 bits are going to be divided into 1 byte of data. 1 byte of data, and these data are sent upon the wire through a modem to the receiver. Okay, so that is asynchronous. We will see some more things about synchronous and asynchronous. Okay, so now it is possible to write a software to use either these methods. So either we can go for synchronous mode, or we can transfer the data bits in terms of asynchronous mode. So our 8051 is supporting for both the methods. Okay, but the programs can be tedious and long. Say if I am going for asynchronous, then it will be a large program, may get larger, complex. Okay, so there are special ICs made by many manufacturers for serial communication. So as we have 2 pins upon 8051, right? RX and TX, receiver and transmitter. So these two are the main pins which are made for communication purpose, data communication purpose. So these 2 pins are connecting the 8051 to the external device, to the outside of the world for the communication, for the transfer of the data. Okay, so we have different ICs for that. To make a communication between the 2 devices, we have different ICs, special ICs. Okay, those are, one is UART. UART means universal asynchronous receiver and transmitter. And another one is USART, universal synchronous asynchronous receiver and transmitter. It is simple. UART, universal asynchronous receiver and transmitter, universal synchronous asynchronous receiver and transmitter. Okay, so those two we have, and supporting ICs we will see in the next slide. Okay, one more point into the communication basics. One thing, the data can be transmitted and received in a duplex transmission. So what is a duplex? Now the data can be transmitted and received in a single time, in a same time. The transmission is also happening and the reception is also happening. That is called as a duplex transmission. Okay, so that is nothing but full duplex, we call it as. Say, what are the different types of transmission? One is simplex transmission. So what is a simplex transmission? Where only transmitter is there and receiver is there. So always transmitter will send the data, and which is only one side, and receiver will receive the data. Now say this is one device and this is another device. If this device is having something data to be transmitted to this, then that cannot be happening. So this is only one-way communication. The simplex is only one-way communication. Say, for example, during the class now running, whatever the class is running now, I ask you some questions. I ask you some of the related questions, and you will receive my question and you will not answer anything. Correct? That is called as simplex communication, because only one side communication is happening here. Only one side communication is happening here. I am speaking and you are listening. Correct? Yes or no? See, there is no reply from you. That is why this is called as simplex communication. Okay. Now, what is a half duplex communication? A half duplex communication is, first I speak, then you listen to that. After my communication, I stop transmitting the data, I stop my teaching and ask for the queries from you. After that, what you will do? You will send a question and I will receive that question, which is not happening right now, but still. Okay. So when I am transmitting, your work only is to receive it. And when you are transmitting, my work is only to receive it. Okay. So only one thing is happening between the two devices. The transmission is also happening, the reception is also happening, but not at the same time. Whenever I am transmitting, you should not transfer anything at the same time. Okay, I am also transmitting, you are also transmitting. That should not happen. There, what will happen? The data is going to be lost, or the data is going to be modified in the transmission line. So that is why that type of data communication is called as half duplex communication. And where a full duplex communication is, I am also transmitting, you are receiving, along with receiving you are also transmitting, I am also receiving. So the transmitting as well as the reception of the data is happening in a single time. Okay, so whatever the communication is happening in a single time, I can also transmit the data, you can also transmit the data, where my data and your data are not going to be collapsed to each other. So because transmitter line and receiver lines are different here. Okay, so that is called as a full duplex communication, right? So what we are following in the class now, presently we are following simplex communication, correct? What type of communication we are following now? Who can tell me? Okay, I can understand that it is a simplex communication only, because I'm not getting any reply from you. Am I audible? Hello, is there any problem? Okay, then what type of communication we are following now? We are following a full duplex, because when I am speaking, you can also speak. Okay, when I am speaking into this Zoom application, you can also speak, right? The communication is happening in a same single time. But what will happen? As it is a single communication, my speech and your speech will get collide with each other. So we can say that it is a half duplex communication. Okay, so first I have to send the data, means I have to ask the question, then you will receive it, and then you will reply for that question. So here it is received, here it is transmitted. Okay. Now, so the protocol is being used. No, data will not get lost in half duplex, but data will get collide with each other. The data will be modified. I am transmitting A, and in the same time, if you transmit B, A and B will be received by you only. Okay, because I am transmitting A and you are transmitting B in the same time. Because of this, what will happen? Both the data is going to be collide, or it may be connect with each other. So what will happen? I am sending only A, but you will receive AB, which is not correct data, right? The data is going to be modified. Okay. So that is why what will happen? Some of the protocols are used. So what do you mean by a protocol? I say in a simple word, rules. For a protocol, I give a name as a rules. So a set of rules are agreed by both the sender and receiver while transmitting the data and receiving the data, so that the data should not be modified, the data should not be lost, the data should not be collide to each other. That is why the rules are going to be made with the sender and receiver. What type of the rules are made? See, first thing is, what is the way of packing the data? Say one packet, whether 8 bits, whether 8-bit packet, whether 10-bit packet, whether 16-bit packet. So there should be some understanding between, the transmitter and receiver, so that what is the type of data, how it is being packed. Okay, so this I call it as one packet. Okay, so that packet may have 8 bits of the data fulfilled, or that packet may have 10 bits of the data fulfilled, or it may have 16 bits of the data. It can go up to, as I know, 40 bits of the data is one packet. Whatever IPv4 we follow, no? IP, Internet Protocol. What is IP? It is an Internet Protocol, no? So that IP, Internet Protocol packet, single packet is having 40 bits. 40 bits, not a 4 bits. It is 40 bits. You know, this is version 4. Now there is one more version, IP, Internet Protocol, version 6. Do you know what is the one packet size? The one packet size is 128 bits. 128 bits. Okay. So what are the rules? How the data is packed? That is one thing. How many bits constitute a character? So one character, say A, B, I am, or what I am sending? I'm sending hi. So if I say hi, H is usually, before it was 5 bits of the data. Now H, whatever the character is there, H is now 8 bits. I is also 8 bits. Now it can be more than 8 bits also. I can make it 10 bits. Right? By adding extra bits, I can make it 10 bits also. So how many bits constitute a character? When the data begins and ends. Say when I am sending hi, then I is one character which is having 10 bits. H is one character which is also having 10 bits. So total how much? So total 20 bits. Now, what is the starting point of this? And what is the ending point of this hi, this message? That for that, I will allocate one extra bit called as start bit. It means when the data is being started, and then I allocate at the end stop bit. Stop bit and start bit. So that whenever the receiver will get the start bit, he will find out the data is 20 bits. Then whenever he finds at the last stop bit, then he will stop receiving the data, because he know one character size is 10 bits. Okay, so after receiving 20 bits, he will find for stop bits. Okay, then in asynchronous serial data, communication is widely used character oriented transmission only. So in an asynchronous communication, the communication is depending upon character oriented. So each character is placed in between the start and stop bits. Each character, see, I have a hi message, HI message to be sent. So H is one character, say it is been 8 bits. This H will be having a start bit and stop bit. Start bit and stop bit. Then I is there. I is also having start bit as well as stop bit. So this, in this way, data is going to be transmitted, and that is called as framing. Framing means I told you as a packet, no? So actually this is not a packet. This is one frame, and this is another frame. Okay, the data bits are converted into frames, and all the frames are converted into packets. Okay, so this is a frame, frame 1 and frame 2. Say, okay, this is first frame 1 and frame 2. Right? So block oriented data transfer use the synchronous method. So asynchronous method uses stop bit and start bit, whereas a block oriented data transfer uses a synchronous method. Okay, the start bit is always 1 bit, but the stop bit can be 1 or 2 bits. So it is not only a single bit, it can be a 2 bits also. Okay, it can be 1 or 2 bits of the stop bits. Right? Is it been understood? Is it understood?